Hello, welcome to Technology Hub, and basically today we'll discuss more about what is .NET Framework and how exactly the .NET Framework works. That means what exactly the flow when we develop an application to give the output of it. So in the third part we'll discuss how exactly we'll install the Visual Studio 2022. So mostly we'll focus on the .NET Core 6 in this series. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So first of all, we'll discuss what exactly the .NET framework is. So .NET framework is basically nothing but where we run the .NET supported applications. Like if you are running an C# application, then you can run that C# application, C#.NET application in the .NET framework to get the specific output, or J#, whatever the 60 plus languages it has. So you can able to run the .NET application. It has 60 plus languages that .NET framework supports. Okay, so that all the languages can be run on the .NET framework. Okay, so that is one part. Now, uh, so if you'll notice, now we'll discuss what exactly this execution process of the .NET framework is. So that means when we are developing an application called C#, then how exactly that C# used to give the output. So that end-to-end process we'll discuss here. Okay, now let's assume we are writing some C# application. Okay, now if I'll create an this C# application, and this is the output of it. Okay, so here let's write down C# application. So we have written an C# application, and based upon that we are getting some kind of output. Okay, now here we'll get some kind of output. Okay, okay, now when we'll write some C# application and getting some output. Okay, that's when a user write a C# application, will get some kind of output. But actually what will happen, that's is basically the execution flow is here. So basically when a user write a C# application, they'll get some kind of output, but the reality, it has some different processes happening in between the C# application and output. So that's basically the execution flow of the .NET framework. Okay, so let's discuss one by one how exactly this execution process works. Okay, now if we'll see this image, now we have an C# application. Okay, so let's take an example of C# application. We can have more applications which is .NET supported. It may be App or Visual Studio. Let's take an example of C# in this discussion. Okay, now in this C# applications, to convert to basically we'll put an output here. Basically let's put an output here. After the machine code we'll get some output. Okay, which is not described in this image. So when from the writing the C# application to this output, okay, here to here, there are different processes happening. Okay, that is invisible by the user. So whoever running this application, they cannot able to see this one, but these are the steps which is happening internally. Now if the C# application, someone is running and writing a C# application and running the C# application in Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code, that IDE, which we'll discuss in the later video sessions, how exactly the process is from C# application, it used to convert to the common language. Okay, so it's a common intermediate language, CIL. Okay, so now this CIL, basically how exactly it's converting from C# to CIL, it's basically with the help of C# compiler. Okay, with the help of C# compiler. Now so this process is complete. Okay, now this part is complete. Now once this is converted with the help of C# compiler, now it's converted to the machine code, and that's with the help of CLR. Okay, with the help of CLR it converted to the machine code. Then from the machine code, now once this machine code is generated, then our operating system will understand, okay, exactly this is the code what exactly it's written in the C sharp. Then it's try to understand that particular code, because we already know that operating system used to understand the machine code, okay, not the other high level languages. So this machine code basically used to understand by the operating system, and then it will give some kind of output, and that will be displayed to the user whoever run this C sharp code or C sharp application. Okay, then he can able to see the output. So from C sharp code to this output, these are the different processes happening. One is it's converted to the intermediate language, then it's converted to the machine code, then it's giving some kind of output. That's basically the idea in the .NET framework execution. Okay, so that's the process when we are running an C sharp application and getting some output. These are the different processes that are happening in between that, and these are the compilers which used to take place in this scenario. Okay, so this is one compiler called C sharp compiler, and here is the one is CLR, which is converted from this common language, common intermediate language to the machine language. Okay, so this is basically the steps is happening while executing the code. So now in the next step, we'll discuss how exactly we'll install the Visual Studio 2022, and here we are installing the community, because there is no license is required for the community version. So if you'll see this link, I'll provide in the description this particular link, so that you can click that link and you can install the Visual Studio 2022. Okay, if I click this one, you can able to see this Microsoft page, and you can see here the download option is coming here. So the download option, once it is downloaded, right, so you can able to install that application. Okay, so once it is downloaded, is completed. So if I click this one, you can go here, and then it may take some time while opening this one. Okay, okay, it's installer. Now I can say yes. Now once you click this yes, now continue. Now it will ask for the download and install. In my case, it's already installed, so it's showing like this. So once you'll get this window, it will download and install it. Now it will take some time. Now in my case, it's already installed, so it's showing like this, but in your case it will install. And then if I modify, while installing, you will get this kind of window. Okay, from there you can select the Visual Studio, this one, ASP.NET and development. And if you are using this Azure development, you can check it or you can uncheck it. It's don't required. And in your case, it's if you are using some desktop application, so you can check this one as well, and remaining it's all fine, and then install while downloading or install it.